So this CD is a big production. Not only is it a double CD, lots of things in it. It's quite an undertaking for the band and for you.
It's a massive production. It's a double CD, and it's a bit all Nigel did on the continent the last, I think, 4 or 5 years, Nigel. We did include one of his older works, the Euphonium Concerto, written for Bob Childs and Black Dyke in Nigel's and James Watson's early days.
And you're playing that, of course, Glenn.
Yeah.
That's a big work, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. I had the parts in 2009 from Nigel, so it's quite a long time I could practice.
Did you find that when you were doing it that you listened to the way Bob did it, or did you start and thought, this is now going to be my concerto, I'm going to do this my way?
Yeah, I listened to it once, but then I lost the CD somehow. I did it my way, I think.
Yes,
I didn't want to listen too much.
I heard Bob play it,
all right.
and then I've been involved with producing the recording over the last 2 nights with you, and you approach it in a much more lyrical fashion than Bob did.
Thanks very much.
But that's your style, and
yeah,
Bob's style
so,
was quite different.
Yeah, the style is of course different. We're from a different generation, so
of course
things change all the time.
And that's how it should be. If things stayed the same, it would be boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
And there's a brand new concerto for you, Harmen.
Yes.
Big work too.
Oh yeah, you really nailed it this time.
You wouldn't want to play something that was easy. You obviously, it's a challenge to have to play something that's quite difficult. But this is what gives you your position in the marketplace, as it were. It shows off all your ability.
Yes, it isn't that I don't want to play something that's easy, but that's just there's never a composer writing something easy for me. So
there's nothing. It's like people talk about. I play golf, and people say, "Oh, this is an easy golf course." I've yet to find an easy golf course anywhere in the world. They're all difficult, and I guess it's a bit like playing the cornet. When you put it on your face, it doesn't matter whether it's in a short piece or a long piece. It takes the same effort to make it work, doesn't it?
Yes, that's completely right. Yeah, it is challenging to play a concerto of that kind. So.
And for you, Luc, I mean, you're right in the middle of it. It's your band. You're responsible for the project. And you've got to interpret all the music. It makes it a big ask. There's no time to turn off, is there?
No, there's no time to turn off, and it's a long way, because the first time I heard Nigel's music was in fact when Bob played that concerto. It was after the Nationals. I still remember Black Dyke played. Was it the Royal Festival Hall, Nigel?
Yeah.
I think you even organized the concert. Yeah. Then we heard Revelation. We heard Malcolm Arnold's Fantasy and Bob playing Nigel's piece, so it all came a bit around. We met Nigel in Belgium. He wrote the first pieces for the band, I think 4 or 5 years ago, in a very close cooperation. So he never walked and finished a piece and then gave it to the band. He always was there, every rehearsal, till the end.
It's quite interesting, isn't it, that 20 years ago, it was everybody looking at the British bands as being the leaders, and the British bands were doing all the new things, and the British bands were exporting their conductors and their players all over the world. Now it's changed. Now it's the bands on the continent and in Scandinavia that are doing new and different things, and England is importing players and conductors. So the top bands, you've just been across and conducted Grimethorpe, you're going across to play with the band, as you are, in their area championships, and you're not on your own. There are 4 or 5 continental conductors who are now working in England. It's turned round, hasn't it? How did that come about, Luc?
No idea. It took us 20 years when we played with Willebroek in those 20 years ago. We did the other way around. We had people like Ian Porthouse coming over. We all learned a lot from those players and from those conductors working with us. Now it's a bit the other way around. If I see the level these guys play now and how we played 20 years ago, it all has changed so much in little time. So it's good for us that we get opportunity also to get
do you think it's perhaps
to the place where we learned so much 20 years ago.
But do you think in those 20 years it's perhaps that England or Great Britain has rested on its laurels rather and thought, well, we can do this. And everybody else has been going at it like crazy and improving and changing things and introducing new things. And now it's England that's going to have to do the catching up.
That's a very tricky question. No, we're just very lucky on the continent. I have a marvelous band. We have a marvelous composer in residence. I have my second cornet player who is a very nice composer, young composer. My soprano cornet player is a composer. So we have a great team, composers, musicians, soloists. When we work, the artwork of a CD, the man who records it, the engineer, the producer. It's just good to have a team like that, and it's fine that it happens on the continent, but there's no secret. Could happen in the UK also.
The only secret ever in music has been hard work, and of course that's the one thing everybody thinks is a magic bullet or whatever. There isn't. It's just hard work, and the harder you work, the better you get. It's strange, isn't it? But it's been great for me to be over here. I've admired your band and heard your band and adjudicated your band and admired especially these two young players and heard what they're doing. So it's been a joy for me to be over here working with you and giving the words for the CD and then being involved in the production as well. So congratulations. It's great to see what's going on. I wish you well in Oslo. Nigel.
I was going to say, what's been quite interesting for you, you've been collaborating with the poet Martin Westlake very closely. I know on Sunday you spent an evening with him and some time on Monday. I mean, how did you find collaborating with a poet rather than, as you often do, write your own scripts?
It's actually the first time I've ever collaborated over words with somebody who's written words. I've collaborated with composers and soloists and who I've had to accompany and obviously got involved in how they wanted to do things. And I've always said the most enjoyable thing as a conductor is bringing new music to life and collaborating with composers and soloists to do that. But it's the first time I've collaborated with somebody who's written words, especially words as deep and as intellectual as Martin has done with these things. So it's been really interesting. And to do something new for me. I mean, old dogs and new tricks and all that sort of business.
I think for me, one of the exciting parts of this project has been this collaboration. Martin's collaborated with me, he heard my music, he writes the poetry, and then you've now become the voice of the poet, with Luc and Glenn and Harmen being the interpreters of the music. So it's an incredible collaboration, really. And hopefully that
I was going to say,
is what's special.
Let's wait till it's finished and it's all on CD and it's all worked or not.
Absolutely true. Thank you very much, everyone, for being part of this incredible project.
It's been a joy.